he does, what he did to build relationships, get to know people who can then help the swim team. He's always done that. And a lot of it, it's by letting people know how good these young people are, these young swimmers are as people, as students, and what he's doing, what the swim team is doing for the community and for the people in the country and the people in the city. And Frank is just always going to do that. You can tell that from what he's saying.
Ya, jadi pengalaman dari coach Frank tadi, ya, kita menyasar juga bahwa coach Frank itu perlihatkan dari kita semua bagaimana cara mendukung pernah yang dilakukan sama beliau, ya. Jadi artinya kita mensupport anak-anak ini kan nggak mudah, apalagi berkaitan dengan keuangan. Tapi kita ada belajar dari coach Frank tadi bahwa mensupport mereka, membuat pemimpin di organisasi, ya, kota, provinsi, semua itu jadi bisa mendukung program dari coach Frank sendiri.
And then one other thing I want to say, this kind of has to do with parents and the struggle that everybody has with parents, and I would say parents being critical of what you're doing as a coach. The club teams that I've known that have been very successful, the coaches that I know who mostly have good relations with their parents, it's obviously not always perfect, are the ones that communicate a lot to the parents, have meetings with parents. And so I have a friend who coaches in my town, and he coaches I think a 15-year-old girl who goes 158 in the 200 freestyle, long course leaders, 408 in the 400 freestyle. He coaches a boy who was 21 in the long course 50 freestyle, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old boy. And I'll stop there.
Ya, jadi permasalahan itu pasti sama semua, ya, yaitu orang tua. Ya, di Amerika juga sama, di Amerika juga sama. Tapi Russel tadi bilang bahwa yang Russel kenal beberapa teman yang sangat sukses dalam mengembangkan kumpulan itu adalah komunikasi dengan orang tua. Itu sangat-sangat penting. Terjadwal, ya, adakan pertemuan dengan orang tua, dan pasti semua yang sukses di perkumpulan pasti punya hubungan yang baik dengan orang tua meskipun tidak sempurna. Ya, dia tadi ada cerita bahwa salah satu temannya yang sukses yang punya pernah 15 tahun, perempuan sudah jalan 158 di 200 kali bebas dan 48 di 400 kali bebas, juga ada 17-18 tahun cowok yang sudah pernah 21 detik di 50 meter, itu juga punya hubungan yang baik dengan orang tua di klubnya.
And so my friend, and you don't have to do this exactly, but this is an example of how he communicates. So, every week, or not every week, but very, very frequently, he will communicate the season plan to his athletes, what he's doing in training volume, and explain where they are, what they should expect when they go to competitions, what they should be feeling like, what they could be feeling like in practice, based on how much hard work they're doing, what their volume is, and he explains this to the athletes.
Ya, jadi tadi yang salah satu pelatih yang sangat sukses tersebut yang memiliki peran jago ini dilakukan, ya. Jadi sangat sering seorang pelatih ini dia mengadakan pertemuan seperti ini dan menjelaskan sampai di mana program latihannya, di mana yang perlu diperbaiki, dan ini diadakan bukan cuma setiap minggu katanya, tapi sering sekali dijelaskan seperti ini.
So he also explains it to the parents. So
ya, dia juga menjelaskan bukan cuma pada atletnya,
doesn't have to, but he tells his swimmers, the parents are the ones that are taking them to practice, the parents are the ones that are paying for them to go to swim meets, and if they go to a swim meet, he wants everyone to have the opportunity to know why a swimmer is swimming this fast and not this fast, and what should they expect. And so, he has a plan, he tells his swimmers, and he tells the parents, because the parents, they want to know.
Ya, tidak harus dilakukan untuk memberitahukan semua informasi atau rencana ini pada orang tua, tapi dia melakukannya. Ya, karena menurut dia, ya orang tua yang bayar liburan, orang tua yang nanti mereka, nanti latihan, nanti keperlombaan, dan mereka memang ingin tahu. Memang kadang-kadang orang tua itu nggak berani ya ngomong, tapi mereka ingin tahu apa yang kita kerjakan, apa rencana kita untuk anak-anak ini.
And so it comes down to what Frank is saying. You have your stakeholders in your club, and as a coach, it's the swimmers, the parents, and the owners or board members, or people in your government, and whoever is in charge of the club, and it's just communicating what you're doing. And the more you communicate, the more people hopefully are on board, are on the same page and support what you're doing.
Ya, jadi sangat penting ya komunikasi. Pertama, komunikasi pada perenang, komunikasi pada orang tua, komunikasi pada bos ya, kalau itu ada bos atau pada pemerintah daerah yang mensupport program ini. Yang terpenting adalah mengkomunikasikan semua perencanaan kita.
Yeah, this girl, the one in the front row, that's the one. The 15-year-old, 16-year-old who was 158 in the 203 and 408 in the morning.
Ya, yang duduk di depan itu adalah, dan tadi yang jadi karin itu adalah perenang umur 15-16 tahun yang sudah berenang 158 dan 408 di 200 dan 400 gaya bebas.
Alright, so we'll talk about backflip now. And alright, so it makes sense to talk about backflip after freestyle because there's a lot of similarities technically that just make it easy to go from freestyle to backflip. And so the most important things, the things that I'll talk about here that I'll emphasize, I think are most important are the catch, the posture, your head and body in the water, this concept of catching high, catching shallow, finishing deep, and then again, like freestyle, having an appropriate amount, too much.
Oke ya, kita sekarang bahas gaya umum, karena memang gaya umum itu mirip dengan gaya bebas, hanya posisi saja yang berubah. Ini juga yang akan dibicarakan mirip-mirip juga ya. Pertama adalah catch, ya. Kedua adalah posisi badan dan kepala. Kemudian catch-nya itu dangkal ya, lateral dalam. Kemudian finish stroke-nya dalam. Dan yang paling penting itu rotasi yang pas buat atlet-atlet.
And so when it comes to the catch, this is what it looks like. It is, and we are shaping the rest of the stroke. Everything else should be focused and shaped around the catch. So your rotation, your finish, the stroke rate, and the kick. The catch is the most important thing, and everything else supports the catch. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind, is that if your rotation interferes with the catch, then something's probably wrong with the rotation. So, the catch is the most important thing.
Ya, jadi yang paling penting di punggung adalah catch, ya. Yang lainnya itu bergerak mendukung atau setelah catch tadi dilakukan. Jadi kalau ada rotasi yang berlebihan yang membuat catch-nya itu terlalu dalam atau terlambat, ya itu berarti salah melakukannya. Jadi yang pertama kali kita pelajari adalah yang fokuskan adalah catch-nya dulu.
And what does this look like? What is happening in this position? Your palms face toward your feet. When I talk about a freestyle, with your arms, your limbs being in line with your body, same thing here. You don't want to be reaching behind you as much.
Oke, jadi kalau kita lihat gambar yang pertama, telapak kanannya mengarah kepada kaki arahnya. Ya, kemudian kalau yang di gambar bawahnya posisinya itu enggak yang berlebihan rotasinya. Oke.
The elbow bend is a little bit wider than 90 degrees. I would say it's not quite just 90, it's a little bit wider with your arms out to the side. And then your fingertips are pointing away from your body. So I like to tell swimmers that your fingers are pointing towards the side of the pool or away from your body. Your thumbs are up towards the surface. Your palms are facing toward your feet, thumbs up to the surface, fingers pointing away from your body. Your hands are not very deep. If you're not reaching behind you, your hands aren't very deep. Your hands are going to be out to the side.
Oke ya, jadi catch-nya posisinya lebih sedikit dan lebih dari 90 derajat ya, dan jarinya mengarah keluar. Biasanya Russel kalau ngasih tahu atlet ibu jarinya ada di atas, yang mengarah pada atas.
This is the hardest position when I am explaining backstroke catch to an athlete on land, and they're like, oh, like this. This is the hardest position that people have. This is the position that people have the hardest time copying and doing. So if I'm telling them to do this, usually they go like this, and they're reaching behind them too much. The catch is like this. Because you're rotating a little bit, the way it's shaped, it actually doesn't feel right when you're doing it on land. People will do this and think that they're doing it correctly, but the actual catch is shaped. You want this to be strong, like I was saying in freestyle. This position to be strong. So like, you don't want to be reaching back.
Oke ya, jadi ini banyak kesalahan yang dilakukan oleh pelatih saat memperagakan ini di atas air. Ya, kadang-kadang kita suruh anak-anak itu untuk masuk terlalu dalam dan berusaha mencontohkan. Padahal catch yang benar tadi kan dibilang dangkal ya, early catch ya, secepat-cepatnya. Jadi pas masuk, catch-nya tuh seperti ini posisinya. Kita nggak perlu nonton yang begini, jadi itu bahaya. Karena kalau anak-anak itu lihat, kita terlalu mereka gitu. Ya, tetap harus sama posisinya. Pada saat kita mendemokan atau memperagakan pada atlet itu di atas kolam.
Again, if you are feeling strain, if you're feeling stress in your shoulder, getting in that position, it's wrong. It needs to be easy to get to. It should be easy on your shoulder. And so being here, I don't feel it in my shoulder. Being here, I feel it in my shoulder.
Ya, yang penting bahunya ini harus berasa nyaman ya. Jangan sampai ketarik ya, atau jadi sakit. Itu posisinya biasanya salah.
It's like throwing a ball towards your feet. So you're laying on your back. You want to throw a ball towards your feet. That's the position you want your arms to be.
Ya, posisi tangannya yang betul adalah berasa seperti melempar bola ke kaki kita pada saat menanjak punggung. Jadi kayak perasaannya ada bola di sini dilempar ke kaki.
I really like this first video of this female athlete. You can see how shallow her hands are.
Ya, dilihat ya, tangannya itu gak terlalu dalam. Ya, ini beda sama zaman dulu. Ilmu zaman dulu kan dalam, ini tidak dalam. Itu kalau dilihat ada tali lintasan itu separuhnya keluar dari permukaan air, dia dekat situ.
You see how close her fingers are to the main ropes?
Ya, tuh, dorongan yang perfect itu gitu. hampir keluar ke permukaan karena dia sudah banyak tuh tali lintasan yang separuhnya ada di dalam, separuhnya di atas saya.
It is not deep. She's not reaching behind her body.
Ya, jadi tidak dalam tanahnya.
And yeah, you can see this with all these athletes. I would say male swimmers, and swimmers that have very flexible shoulders tend to reach deeper with their stroke. It's not always good. In the US, the women that have very flexible shoulders reach behind them a lot more, and it's not something that I would copy or tell somebody to do. What this female athlete is doing, that is what I would coach everybody to do.
Ya, jadi beberapa atlet, beberapa renang yang punya fleksibilitas yang tinggi pada bahunya, dia akan bisa lebih dalam tangannya pada saat catch, ya, pada saat dorong. Tapi itu tidak direkomendasikan karena nggak banyak yang bisa fleksibel. Jadi kalau melatih, yang dilatih sama Russel adalah yang seperti cewek ini, yang dangkal dorong.
And then looking at this a little bit more, very common mistake. You want your athlete to look like an athlete at the top video, not the bottom video, where you have the athlete pushing down.
Ya, jadi yang perlu dicontoh adalah yang video di atas. Ya, bukan video yang di bawah. Kalau video di bawah itu terlalu dalam tangannya.
Again, I would encourage you to do this yourself, to figure out what that feels like, what it looks like, be in front of a mirror, trying to make other coaches do it and then coach them up well. This position, when somebody tells me, when an athlete tells me that their shoulder hurts when they swim backwards, it's usually in this position because they're reaching too far behind them, and you can have shoulder injuries because you're reaching too far behind.
Ya, jadi kebanyakan atlet-atlet itu mengalami cedera pada bahunya, ya karena melakukan suatu teknik gerakan yang salah. Contohnya misalnya yang bawah. Jadi banyak penang-penang yang belajar gaya punggung itu terlalu dalam, dan ini ya kulit sama Russel untuk kita bisa memperagakan ya, kita bisa ngaca dulu ya, udah posisinya betul di sebelah mana.
So the key thing is that when you enter, change direction. You enter above the shoulder, and instead of following through, you enter, change direction with the hand. The hand sharply change direction.
Oke, kuncinya adalah secepat-cepatnya merubah arah telapak tangannya. Pada saat masuk, langsung berubah arah ya. Jadi masuk, langsung berubah arah. Jadi jangan diikutin.
So fingers point up, and then point away, or to the side. They point above you, to the side, above you, to the side.
Ya, jadi kuncinya jari tangannya. Jadi tangannya ini ya, jadi poin ke sana, habis itu langsung poin ke sebelah sana. Jadi masuk langsung. Ya, jadi merubah posisi jarinya.
So all these athletes are many of the best ever and the best current athletes. So the female athlete is from Australia. The next person, this is Ryan Murphy from the US, and then Yevgeny Lylov from Russia, all Olympic champions.
Ya, ini jadi kalau contohnya bisa dilihat gerakan tangannya secepat apa dia merubah posisi jarinya. Ya, jadi kalau contohnya ada Nakeon dari Australia, pembalap dunia kayak hukum, ada Murphy juga, semuanya pernah dunia.
So the drill that I like, just for backfield catch, is dragging your thumb on the surface of the water. So dragging your thumb just under the surface or at the surface, and your thumb can break it, and just teaching athletes how shallow that catch can be. And obviously it'll be a little bit deeper, but dragging your thumb just on the surface and then finishing deep.
Ya, drill yang banyak dilakukan oleh Russel adalah pada saat gaya punggung, ibu jarinya ini ada di bergeser di permukaan air. Dan sedangkal itu dorongan kayak gitu.
And looking at this from the front and side view, so this is the same athlete. From the front and the side, you see how shallow it is from the side, and you see how shallow it is on the front. On the front, you don't see reaching behind, you see the hands pretty close to the surface, the fingers pointing away, just further more examples of what the catch looks like and how shallow it is, and it's out to the side of the body.
Ya, ini adalah pertanyaan sama dari depan dan dari samping. Yang ingin Russel perhatikan adalah seberapa dangkal dorongan ini, seberapa jaraknya dari permukaan dan jarinya.
Alright, any questions on catch? Let's talk about this for a second. Yeah. Oh, let's wait for the microphone. Yeah. Thank you.
Terima kasih. Saya Diki dari Alabama. Satu pik atau dua pik, maksudnya itu kan ada dua kali dia naik ke atas kemudian turun ke bawah. Itu berpengaruh tidak? Dia kan ada press terus naik terus ke bawah. Nah di sini one peak, two peak. Terima kasih.
Yeah, so you see the movement go up and then down. So I'm going to talk about this, a very important part. So the catch is the side and shallow. And then I like the finish. I think it's very important for the finish to be down. And so people coming up, I think it helps them set up the down part. So you see how the hand is down here. It goes from here to here. So you see that right at the end. And where his hand is right there. I think coming up helps them set up coming down. If someone goes up and then down to do that, it's okay. If someone can just pull straight and then go down, that's fine too. So the important part is catching shallow, catching where you're strong, and then finishing deep, and I'll explain why that's, a little bit later, I'll explain why that's important. And so that's why you see somebody maybe go like this. So the important part is this part and this part, and then in between, it might go like this.
Ya, jadi pertanyaannya tadi, kalau kita masuk terus keluar lagi ada dalam itu, apakah itu nggak masalah? Jawabannya dari Russel adalah yang paling penting adalah catch-nya cepat duluan, sama finishnya di bawah ya, di bawahnya pinggul atau apa atau pinggang. Itu kalau di tengahnya ada masalah, ada yang langsung, ada yang naik dan turun, itu nggak masalah.
Alright, so I'll get back to why the deep finish I think is important, but let's talk about the head and body posture. And so I like to see shoulders forward. I like to see a little bit. So I'm exaggerating, but the shoulders forward, the chest hollow. I like to see things rounded. I like to see the head slightly tilted, like you're resting on a thin pillow.
Ya, ini posisi badan dan kepalanya yang direkomend sama Russel adalah kayak kepalanya itu kayak tidur di bantal yang tipis, sama posisi badannya agak masuk ke dalam.
And I think little kids often, and it's okay, I would say, this is harder because it uses the core more. This is pretty hard, it uses the core. But little kids, and you often teach, you might teach a little kid this way, is, having pushing their head back and arching their back. I think that's okay, but as they develop their core, as they get stronger, they need to be able to go from here to be able to be able to kick better, and then also have your core tighter. And little kids, they don't have strong core. They don't have any core. And so being able to use that, some of that might come as they get more muscles.
Ya kadang-kadang kalau apa yang kita ajarkan ke anak-anak seperti yang di bawah ini ya, dadanya disuruh nampungin ke atas, memang nggak masalah. Ya, tapi pada saat nanti mereka sudah kekuatan perutnya sudah mulai ada, mereka harus bisa agak nekan sedikit ya, karena itu kekuatannya di kekuatan perut.
But in general, I don't want this, especially older athletes. That's not what you're trying to do. As you get older, you should be in this position here, grounded with your back.
Ya, itu nggak direkomend untuk anak-anak yang pada sudah dewasa. Yang dewasa seharusnya posisinya sudah seperti ini.
So what I like about this, it allows you to move when your shoulders are a little bit grounded and your chest is hollow. It allows you to move your arms much easier than if your chest is up. It's harder to move your arms. That's being strong. I want to see strong movements. I want to see your body being the strongest way possible. And in back stroke, I think it's more when you're grounded like this, then you can be using your core a whole lot more. You use your legs a whole lot better. If your back is arched, your chest is down. It's just hard to also move your legs when your back is arched. So being like this, it's just easier to move your arms and your legs.
Ya, jadi posisi seperti ini bisa kita praktekkan sebagai pelatih ya, sebelum kita ajarkan. Kenapa kok dadanya nggak dibiarin ngebusuk ke depan, punggungnya melengkung, karena akan lebih susah buat kita untuk bergerak dengan cepat, dengan kuat. Pada saat ini semua kita tekan ke belakang, kita lebih bisa bergerak cepat, dan itu berpengaruh juga ke kaki.
And again, this what proper head position looks like. I said, like your head is resting on a thin pillow, like you're laying in bed and there's a thin pillow, and your head is slightly tilted. So your eyes aren't looking straight up, it's more slightly tilted. And you can see that the eyes are not just straight up.
Ya, kemudian di posisi kepala yang ada bentang tipisnya itu patokannya biasanya matanya nggak benar-benar lihat ke atas lurus, agak serong. Kalau itu bisa dilihat dari kacamatanya, dia lihatnya agak serong.
So then, similar to freestyle, actually, yeah, we're gonna talk about rotation and then we'll do questions. So rotation, just like freestyle, is graphic. Shows the maximum rotation of many of the U.S. Olympians and the national team. And what it is, it's 20 to 30 degrees rotated from the surface. So 90 degrees is you're rotated all the way on your side. 45 degrees, you're halfway. They're rotated less than 45 degrees maximum.
Ya, ini sama kayak bebas ya, rotasinya nggak boleh terlalu banyak, ya 20 sampai 30 derajat rotasinya. Makanya kalau dilihat dari gaya bebas tadi lebih sedikit dari gaya bebas, padahal kita tahu punggung biasanya rotasinya harusnya lebih banyak karena bahunya harus keluar segala macam. Dan jadi kita belajar hari ini nggak perlu rotasi kebanyakan.
So your catch is to the side, your hands are shallow, your arms are to the side of your body. That's where you're strongest. You don't need to rotate all the way to your side. If your arms are out here, you just need to rotate enough so that your arm is strong. And so you don't have to go all the way to your side, you're strong here. It takes a long time. Backstroke is also about stroke rate. Maintain a good stroke rate, and if you rotate all the way to your side, you won't be moving as much water as the person next to you who is moving their arm faster and being also very strong.
Ya, jadi yang terpenting adalah posisi di mana tangan ini memiliki kekuatan yang paling penuh. Ya, dan gaya punggung ini gaya yang rate-nya harus tinggi. Kita nggak bisa panik-panikan. Jadi yang rotasinya nggak terlalu banyak, itu yang bisa dapat rate yang tinggi.
So I said this, actually somebody asked a great question after the freestyle. about kicking and what it means to be on your side. And so what I said, and I'll say this now, the same thing freestyle and back to it. What I tell little kids when I talk to swimmers is, let's say you're wearing pants in the pool, you have your pockets. And in freestyle, I tell kids to rotate your pant pocket down. You're not rotating all the way to your side, you're rotating your front pocket down, and that's it. Rotating your thigh down, and that's it. And backstroke, same thing. You're rotating your thigh or your pants pocket up to the surface, and that's it. You're not rotating all the way to your side, you're just rotating your front pants pocket up to the surface.
Ya, yang biasa dilakukan Russel adalah cara mengajarin anak-anak biasanya membayangkan kita punya dua kantong di celana ini, kantongnya cukup untuk dilihatin ya ke atas dan bergantian, tidak perlu terlalu muter ya.
And so looking at this, what it looks like, so we're not rotating down a lot. You're rotating just 20 to 30 degrees down. So you're rotating just 20 to 30 degrees up to the surface. So the shoulder, just like freestyle, the shoulder never comes in front of the chin. It never comes in front of the face. It stays next to your face. And that's the proper rotation above the water and the proper rotation underwater. 20 to 30 degrees down, 20 to 30 degrees up, not rotating the shoulder all the way up to your chin, keeping it next to your face. So watching all these athletes, you see that.
Kayak ini kalian lihat ya, intinya pada saat kita rotasi ya kita tidak perlu terlalu banyak ya, cuma 20-30 derajat ke bawah dan 20-30 derajat naik ke atas yang bahu satunya ya. Jadi ini contohnya kadang-kadang jadi bahu ini tidak pernah ada di depannya wajah kita atau wajahnya atlet, ada di samping bahunya.
And so what's important about rotation in backstroke is having the appropriate amount, not too much, not too little, but then also the most important thing is doing it early, rotating early.
Oke ya, jadi untuk gaya punggung ini rotasi bahunya nggak perlu terlalu banyak, harus tepat ya. Rotasinya harus tepat, nggak perlu terlalu banyak dan juga nggak bisa banyak rotasi. Tepat, yang terpenting adalah cepat ya, secepat-cepatnya mulai rotasi.
So what I mean by early is that when your hand enters, so you rotate, your arm is recovering and your shoulders up. By the time when your hand is entering, it should be flat. And then rotate 20 degrees down after entry. So when your arm is up, 20 degrees up. When you're entering, 0 degrees. When you're about to start your catch, 20 to 30 degrees.
Ya, yang dimaksud dengan rotasi awal ya, seperti itu biasanya pada saat tangan satunya naik, bahu yang satunya turun, ya sekitar 20 derajat. Pada saat kelingkingnya masuk ke dalam air, bahunya ada di posisi 0 derajat, ya. Kemudian pada saat mulai ngerti kayak sisinya naik 20 derajat. Itu yang dimaksud dengan rotasi awal.
So in this video, the top athlete rotates late. You'll see the bottom athlete perfect. The top athlete enters and then rotates. The bottom athlete is rotating into the entry. Top athlete enters and then rotates. Bottom athlete rotates and enters at the same time.
Oke, ini ada dua perbedaan ya. Yang atas yang salah ya, itu nanti dia tangannya masuk baru rotasi bahu. Kalau yang di bawah itu yang sempurna, dia rotasi saat tangannya masuk bersamaan.
Top athlete, hand is entering. You see, they're narrow, two above, like in front of the head, and also with the back of the hand, right there.
Itu yang di atas masuknya melebihi garis kepalanya, Ya, dan masuknya dengan bagian belakang dari telapak tangan.
The top athlete is also, when they're entering, they're rotated they're still rotated to the other side. So they're entering with the right hand, but rotated to the left side.
Ya, jadi bedanya yang di atas tangannya udah masuk air, bahunya masih ada di bawah. Kalau yang di bawah tangannya masuk, bahunya udah siap keluar.
The athlete on the bottom is entering and halfway through the rotation, already started the rotation. And that is what you want to be. You want to be rotating and entering at the same time, not entering and then rotating.
Ya, jadi yang bawah itu yang betul ya. Jadi kita mau atlet-atlet kita itu melakukan rotasi bahu saat kelingkingnya masuk ke dalam air.
And as this video plays, hopefully you see that. You see the athlete on top entering and then rotating. You see the athlete on the bottom rotating into the entry, rotating and entering at the same time.
Ya, jadi jelas ya perbedaannya yang di atas masuk baru rotasi, kalau di bawah berbarengan masuk dan rotasi.
And what this enables this bottom athlete to do is just be very strong in the catch right away. It can be so strong because the shoulders and the arm are ready to pull together, are lined up, and being able to be in the strongest position, whereas the athlete on top will be reaching over her head and then have to, it's just not the fastest, not the best.
Ya, jadi perbedaannya yang kalau yang di bawah itu mereka si atlet bisa langsung mengeluarkan seluruh kekuatannya dan posisi badannya sudah siap untuk mengeluarkan tenaga. Tapi kalau posisi yang di atas, dia masuk dulu, muter, itu akan lebih lambat dan tidak maksimal tenaganya.
The whole thing is to make sure you have a good catch. And so, in order to rotate on time, in order to rotate properly, that's where you finish deep. That this hand going below your hips, deeper than your hips, moves your hips up so you can enter with the opposite side. This catching shallow, finishing deep, moves the hips up so you can enter and catch on the other side.
Ya, jadi untuk bisa catch cepat di awal, ya itu juga berhubungan dengan finish dari tangan yang satunya ya ke bawah, supaya bisa membantu bahunya untuk lebih awal bergerak ke rotasinya.
These are all U.S. Olympians, and U.S. has, for some reason, always been good at backstroke, and all the U.S. Olympians in backstroke usually come very close to medaling or they medal, and this is what they look like. Their hands, they catch here, they catch high, and they finish low. They catch shallow, and they finish deep.
Ya, jadi contoh-contoh ini adalah penang-penang Amerika, juara-juara dunia ya. Ya, Amerika terkenal memiliki banyak sekali pakai punggung dan mereka semua hampir sama. Ya, catch-nya dangkal, ya, nggak terlalu dalam, finishnya dalam, di bawahnya tinggi.
And so what's also happening from the side, high and finish low. From the front, if I'm swimming towards you, your arms are also, your hands are out to the side, and then they come closer to your body. So you're basically throwing water not just down, but you're throwing it behind your hips. You're throwing it behind your hips, like beneath your hips. So it's going behind, closer, your hands going deeper and also inward toward your body.
Ya, jadi catch-nya lurus, baru gerakannya ke bawah. Ya, jadi jangan dalam, terus balik lagi ke dalam. Tapi kalau bisa dangkal, habis itu dorong ke bawah. Di bawahnya pinggul ya, kayak airnya dilempar ke bawahnya pinggul.
So where you see that from above water, when you're watching a swimmer, you can easily tell if they're rotating too late by seeing their armpits. Well, there are two things.
One is you often see the hands enter too narrow, they cross over with the hands, and the back of the hand enters. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you often see the armpits, and then you still rotate down.
Ya, ini adalah contoh yang salah ya, terlambat. Ya, karena masih bisa lihat keteknya mereka pada saat masuk. Ya, harusnya udah nggak bisa. Harusnya udah langsung posisinya udah begitu, udah berubah ya. Nah ini terlambat, jadi dia masuk dulu karena melebihi garis tengah. Ya, terus baru rotasi, itu terlambat.
So this is not good. Not good. Obviously, we have late rotation. Any questions? I'm going to talk about drills that I like in backstroke, drills that I think help this a lot. But any questions that understanding of like why does this make sense, and like why somebody would then also catch up and maybe do this thing with their hand? Does that make sense now? And what questions might you have about body posture, about rotation, and about the finish?
Ya, ini contoh yang salah ya. Nah, sebentar lagi Russel akan menjelaskan drills untuk membantu memperbaiki anak yang bergeraknya seperti ini. Ya, mungkin sebelum itu ada nggak pertanyaan dari awal tadi dari pembahasan kita dari tangan, rotasi sampai di finish tadi? Ada pertanyaan?
My question is about body position to explain. I do understand that kids have a problem with having body position, but it's usually difficult for them to get the position that they actually stay in. But it does have this mechanism, but then when I work on all the way to hold that position, right? So you need to pay attention to those that you use. Because I do understand that back to the problem that what I face in the past when I teach them, later on when they are older, very difficult to break, especially that they use that version, they just don't see right and stuff like that.
How do you use your keyboard? What do you use? Where's your keyboard? Above? Yeah. Yeah.
This week I goes to
Oh, you put it behind the head.
it's not an easy under the head, just the edge bit, so that they get there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, I think what you're asking is it okay to teach that at a young age? Yeah. I mean, if you can teach these habits at a younger age, that's even better. I don't think you have to teach, like this at a young age, but I do know that there's some coaches that want to teach it like that. And I guess what I encourage is if you're teaching like this, you have to know that eventually they have to go the other way. And they can't just push their head like that their entire career. Because at some point, that doesn't work.
Ya, itu caranya gimana caranya? Karena dari bidang hukum itu kalau nggak dilatih dari awal mengenai posisi badannya ya, takutnya kalau sudah berumur dan dewasa susah sekali untuk memperbaiki tekniknya, ya kan? Tadi ada pertanyaan, boleh nggak kalau misalnya dilatih kaki supaya posisinya sudah kayak ada daun tahu tipisnya itu papanya ditaruh di atas kepala, ya boleh-boleh aja, sah-sah aja gitu, sah-sah. Lagi pertanyaan mengenai yang umum sampai di sini?
Terus misalnya.
Yeah, thank you. Now I have a lot of complete day. I can see from your sort of explain position posture, like balance the body, tilt your chin. So I'm absolutely wrong doing now. So like I'm expand my gaze, 3 points, your face, bubble, chest, and toes. Like three point balls of face forward. But now I can see the chest low, like how this control this everything.
So it's subtle. It's not like just a little bit.
Just, there has to be underwater chest or little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you watch many of these athletes, and the chest is, let's see, even just this video, you see that the chest is not above the water. It's at, I would say when I watch, I'll show you a different video that I don't have here. When I show, oops, not it. So this is from the side, two athletes that are very, very good at their body position, and they're just under their body and their chest and their hips are just under the surface.
So the cup on the face doesn't work right now.
Oh, it does? Yeah. I mean, you put it on the forehead, you just have to balance it right. I mean, it's like, instead of your face being all the way directly up, it's tilted, so you just have to put it in a different spot on your head. I think, I see a lot of clubs in the US that do that. They still do good balance, but it's not just, the eyes aren't looking straight up when they do that. Yes.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah.
Oke, jadi pertanyaannya tadi kan banyak yang latih ya, banyak yang salah dengan instruksi kadang-kadang kita suruh dadanya busuk ini supaya semuanya tinggi, tapi tadi dijelaskan bahwa gaya punggung itu posisi badannya ada di tidak keluar dari permukaan. Itu posisi badan yang betul di gaya punggung, jadi pas di permukaan dadanya. Ya, terus tadi pertanyaan juga, wah berarti drill gaya punggung dengan gelas atau botol di kepala itu nggak berguna, nggak salah berguna tetap. Banyak yang melakukan itu kan tujuannya supaya kepala tidak bergerak. Cuman posisinya harus dibetulkan, yang tadi posisinya di sini agak di atas sedikit, soalnya dia harus ada bantalnya sedikit yang tipis tadi. Ada pertanyaan lagi sebelum kita lanjut? Okay, I think we did it.
Okay. Going to drills. And so first I'm going to start with the drill that I like. And this isn't the first drill that I would talk about, but this is the first drill that I would do for trying to rotate earlier using the finish. So since we just talked about using the finish, I like to have just the arms the elbows next to your body, and using a deep finish to rotate from side to side. Hands using paddles, again, elbows in, and just finishing deep. Bring your hands up to the side, down, down, and up, down, and up.
Ya, ini salah satu drill untuk mempercepat rotasi, ya rotasi bahu. Ini drillsnya dinamain ini aja, tapi ini intinya pakai pedal, pulbunya di kaki dari bawah. Jadi intinya cuma latihan finishing dari tangannya ke bawah, di bawahnya pinggul.
So I would also say that this deeper finish and the rotation early is probably more for athletes that are 13, 14, and older, because you need to have good core in order to be able to do this. And so it is more for older athletes. Young athletes, 8, 9, 10, 11, often I see just finishing high and keeping it, like catching high and finishing high. I think that's okay. Older athletes, as they get to 12, 13, 14, definitely need to be pushing low.
Ya, jadi drill ini biasanya dilakukan untuk perenang yang usianya sudah 13, 14, 15 tahun ya. Karena ini drill ini membutuhkan kekuatan otot bagian core atau perut ya. Jadi kalau untuk anak-anak yang misalnya 8 tahun, 9 tahun, 10 tahun, 11 tahun itu biasanya catch-nya cepat, ya didorongnya juga nggak terlalu dalam, itu tidak masalah. Tapi semakin tua, semakin berumur dia semakin dewasa harus turun ke bawah, dorongannya harus dalam.
And then going back, this is probably the drills that I would start with. We do a lot of kicking on your side, not all the way on your side, but with your front pocket up at the surface. So doing a lot of kicking, let's start with that. Just kicking with your shoulder not next under your chin, with your shoulder next to your face, front pocket up.
Ya, ini juga yang sudah lama sekali, ya banyak sekali kita lakukan. Ini adalah 6 kaki terus rotasi. Ya, 6 kaki ini yang perlu diperhatikan adalah bahunya tidak rotasi bahunya tidak berlebihan. Ya, jadi ini menemukan posisi bahu yang tepat.
And then moving that to kicking, switching from side to side. 6 kicks per side. So you're not actually on your side, as I was saying. You're just rotating your front pocket up, and you're going 6 kicks, but only, again, like only rotating your front pocket up, not going all the way to your side, not rotating all the way to your side. You're just going to your front pocket to your front pocket.
Ya, jadi ini juga perlu diperhatikan posisi pinggulnya juga, ya, jadi nggak terlalu miring. Ya. Jadi kalau istilahnya Russel tadi kantong yang satu ditunjukin, kemudian kantong satunya pun ditunjukin lagi ya ke depan.
And so, yeah, I think this one thing is also important to understand is that the proper rotation, you're only rotating at the ends of the stroke. You're not rotating in the middle of the stroke. You're only rotating on the entry and the finish. So it's not rotating, not rotating, not rotating, not rotating, rotating. Not rotating, rotating. So you're only rotating at the finish and the entry. Because you want to be strong. And if you're rotating during the stroke, if you're rotating while you're pulling, you're rotating away from the arm, and every amount you rotate while you're pulling, you're actually going to be getting weaker in the stroke because you're rotating away from that arm. You get to see what's happening with my shoulder here. So you want to be not rotating, engaging your core, rotate at the end. So only rotating at the ends of the stroke, and then not in the middle.
Ya, jadi rotasi bahu itu dilakukan pada saat tangan yang satunya menyelesaikan gerakan dan tangan satunya masuk ke dalam air. Cuman pada saat itu. Ya, jadi pada saat masuk ini rotasi, yang sini rotasi, ini nggak rotasi, pas ininya finish, ininya yang rotasi. Ya, karena yang sebelah kanannya udah finish, masuk ke dalam air.
And then, yeah, graduating to 6 kicks and 3 strokes. Obviously, this is a very common drill too. I'm sure many of you do this. But again, it's not going all the way onto your side, it's going to your front pocket up to the surface.
Ya, ini lanjutan dari drill tadi yang 6 kaki, miring, miring, 6 kaki ditambah 3 stroke, miring, 6 kaki tambah 3 stroke gitu ya.
Other drills that I like, so when you're doing, let's just go, so this is Frank at Arizona, they do a lot of, and it's very common now, freestyle, bow and arrows, they call it, I don't know why they call it that, but they do a lot of freestyle where they're kicking, and they have one arm up and one arm here, and they'll kick, and then they'll shoot into the next stroke. Kick like this, shoot in the next stroke. So the same thing in back stroke is what I like, is I like having the arm up, and then you're doing kicks, and you're finishing down and entering at the same time.
Ya, ini drill yang dilakukan oleh coach Frank dari Arizona. Ya, ini biasanya dia lakukan di bebas. Ini yang kebalik aja, di punggung. Ya, ini untuk menyamakan timingnya ya pada saat ininya finish, yang di atas ini masuk, menyamakan timingnya ya, juga bersama.
I like having one paddle on the hand that's doing the finish. It just makes it easier I'm not trying to make the drills hard, I'm trying to teach them how to isolate a skill that is very important. So by having the paddle on the finish hand that's underwater, just lets them really use that hand to rotate the hip up and rotate that hand into the entry.
Ya, biasanya pakai satu pedal di tangan yang akan dorong ke bawah, yang dalam.
And I probably shouldn't have this athlete also have fins on. So fins and the one paddle.
Oke, harusnya lebih baik dilakukan pakai fins dan juga satu pedal di tangan yang dilatih untuk finish.
And then last drill that I like in backstroke, I like single arm. Single arm is very good, but I think it's good, especially with posture. Talking about posture is having the one arm that you're not using to cross your chest. I think it helps kind of get the shoulders rounded forward when you have the one arm across the chest, and it just hits your body in a good position. So yeah, you can have an arm either side if you want, and still do that, but having it across the chest I think can really be nice.
Ya, ini juga salah satu drill gaya punggung satu tangan yang biasa kita lakukan di tangan di samping, which is nggak masalah juga. Cuman dengan tangannya satu ada di dada dan menyamping di dada seperti ini, itu akan membuat posisi badan kita lebih bagus ya, karena posisinya udah langsung nutup, nggak terbuka, dadanya jadi nggak kosong, agak masuk.
And then it also makes it, when your arm is across your chest and your shoulders are rounded forward, it makes it pretty hard for you to reach behind your body, because, you still can, but hopefully it just helps reinforce where your arm should be on the entry too, as you're moving into that catch.
Ya, jadi dengan tangan disampingkan di dada perenang seperti ini, itu akan mengurangi perenang tersebut untuk bisa rotasi berlebihan, karena agak susah untuk bisa masuk terlalu catch terlalu dalam pada saat ada tangan satu di sebelah sini, yang ada di dada.
Any other, so drills that, I know that everyone does drum arm and just think about it. I guess I like drum arm because your hands are shallow. You can't really reach behind your body when you're doing double arm, so you can use that. But really, you're obviously not getting any rotation in double arm. And so just understanding the utility and use, what a drill is useful for. So double arm, you oftentimes can't really make that much of a catch. It's just kind of, actually I'm not really sure what else you can use double arm for.
Jadi kalau kita tahu, kita sering kasih double arm ya. Dia punggung tangannya dua-dua bergerak, ya kita harus hati-hati dalam menggunakan itu dalam dia punggung, karena dengan yang baru diajarkan itu langsung juga nggak tahu hubungannya untuk apa lagi itu selain untuk makin relax kayaknya.
Any questions on drills? Any drills that you like that you might want to suggest? I think that might be good to, or things that you're doing with your little kids or your young athletes that you'd like to share.
Ya, ada yang punya ide drill dan punggung yang pernah dilakukan, mungkin mau di-share ke teman-teman di sini.
Actually got some kids, right, they will face a problem where their hips will fall. So no matter how they are trying, they will back stroke, their hips will fall. So is there any specific drills that can help to fix the hips?
You're saying hips fall?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of that is having good kick, good core understanding. So I think core is really important, especially as you get older. Ryan Murphy, the Olympic champion backstroker. So all the backstrokers at where he trains at Cal Berkeley, they do a lot of core work. I think I've seen Brian do more than all of them. So Brian, when he I think the biggest thing for him to keep good hip position is doing a lot of core work, and I think it's probably more important than any of his stroke. So that on the first part, yeah.
Ya tadi pertanyaannya gimana caranya kalau ada anak pernah dia punggung ya pantatnya dari bawah, gitu ya. Nah itu gimana drillnya? Jadi tadi suggestionnya biasanya berhubungan dengan kekuatan core, kekuatan perut. Ya biasanya kalau belum kuat core-nya ya agak susah. Nah Ryan Murphy adalah salah satu penang, dia pernah dunia di Olimpiade yang paling banyak melakukan latihan core untuk menjaga posisi badannya. Jadi ya jawabannya ya harus kuatin core.
And then the other thing is having a good kick. And so, as I mentioned in freestyle, you're not going to be kicking as big, as far forward. The kick will probably be a little bit smaller and a little bit at the surface. Obviously, you're not going to kick above the surface. So you have to be able to keep the kick very steady, and the harder you kick, the easier it is to keep your hips up too. So there's no shortcuts to having good body position, good hip position. It's hard work with your core and hard work with your kick, and that's what I tell kids in the US when I talk to them.
Ya jadi agak beda ya dengan gaya bebas karena gaya hukum ini kita nggak bisa, kalau gaya bebas nanti kita tendangannya masih dalam, kalau gaya hukum kita nggak bisa tendangannya sampai keluar kakinya. Jadi harus menemukan suatu timing yang tepat ya pada kaki juga ke semuanya. Jadi semuanya harus bekerja dengan baik untuk menjaga posisi badan.
Anything
Lagi
else?
pertanyaan?
How narrow or wide?
I like, yeah, how narrow or wide. I
Narrow
like,
or wide? Is there any number, degrees?
I guess, I said like a little wider than 90. So I'm seeing like Ryan Murphy is way too wide for most people. So strong, and his hands, his arms are really not bent much at all. His arms are like this when he's pulling. I would say you want to be not at 90. It's really pretty narrow. I would say you want to be, just wider than 90 is what I would say. So your fingers pointing out and a little bit wider than 90 degrees.
Maybe 95.
95? Yeah.
Ya, jadi pertanyaan dalam derajat ya, itu bisa di-adjust ya kan. Ryan Murphy itu benar-benar lebar, dia lebar banget, tapi memang dia kan kuat sekali. Tapi memang tidak semua bisa sekuat Ryan Murphy, tapi ininya tidak terlalu dekat, tapi juga nggak sampai terlalu lebar. Jadi beda-beda ya.
One more question. Over there. Oh, can you raise your hand up again? So he can, yeah.
Hello. Okay. So in your whole explanation for freeing back, you never used the term freestyle or swimming smooth. Is it safe to say, or like if I wanted to explain it to my kids, the things that we want to do now is put you in a good position to produce power, to accelerate and be powerful in the swim smooth and glide. Is it safe to explain
I think-
it like that?
So swimming smooth, you can still do those things. I would say like swimming smooth, the key to that is still having a very good, strong kick behind you. Pretty hard to swim smooth and easy. The mistake people make when people swim smooth is they rotate too much. They'll just try to extend this way. In freestyle, swimming smooth to me is rotating the same amount that you could when you're swimming fast, just when you're gliding and extending, you can just extend with your front pocket down and extend your shoulder forward. You're not rotating, you're not driving your shoulder underneath your face, you're extending with your front pocket down and your shoulder forward. And you can ride it out that way. And so in backstroke, backstroke's a little bit harder because you don't really, in the stroke, you don't have to really glide. I would say you can slow down the stroke and be nice and quiet with the stroke, but it requires a very strong kick. So doing it with fins is great. And I would say same thing with freestyle, but it's not over-rotating. I think when kids are swimming smooth or easy and very quietly, they tend to over-rotate because they're slowing everything down, so they just kind of just lift the shoulders. So you can still swim smooth and quiet. Just, I would say, doing it appropriately with proper mechanics is what's most important. Does that make sense?
Ya, jadi pertanyaan tadi, boleh nggak ngasih instruksi ke atlet kita berenang itu smooth atau lebih panjang-panjang atau banyak yang bilang silent swim, kan? Itu kalau silent swim, kan? Silent swim nggak masalah, kita masih bisa pakai instruksi seperti itu, cuma harus hati-hati karena sebetulnya kalau kita berenang bilang smooth ya, smooth itu kan berarti benar-benar lancar ya. Nah, pasti kan ada kaki yang sangat kuat yang mendorong mereka. Nah, cuman yang harus diperhatikan adalah jangan sampai rotasinya itu berlebihan. Itu aja sih. Ya, umum juga sama.
Alright, so the last thing I'm going to cover is the rates, the stroke rates, and basically metrics for backstroke. And so this is for men's races, and looking at a 48 for the rate for the 100 back, and a 41 for the 200 back. And so kind of being around that rate, and there's so much more to it, because I would say actually in backstroke the rates are pretty steady. From first 50 to second 50, you don't have that much for most backstroke, not all backstroke, the rate stays the same. So trying to be, the most important thing in backstroke is can you maintain your rate through the race?
Ya, ini adalah contoh race berenang gaya punggung 100 meter rata-rata. Ini ukurannya berenang laki-laki ya di long course kolam 50 meter bukan kolam short course. Kalau long course 48, temponya kalau berenang 241. Ini kalau hitung tempo paling gampang ya kita punya tempo rate ya, ini sadar. Tapi itu bisa 48, zoom itu bisa gitu.
And again, the cycles, they're probably not going to be the same. They're definitely not going to be the same for your kids swimming. The number of cycles won't be the same. The rate can be similar. It takes, again, technique first, and then can you maintain the tempo? Can you get to a tempo while maintaining technique? There's a certain amount of strength involved in that, but I would say, like cycles, the Ryan Murphy's going to be able to pull so much water in one cycle. So cycles won't matter for your athletes, but tempo is something to keep in mind.
Ya, jadi yang lain-lainnya itu tentang cycle-nya itu pasti beda-beda ya, karena powernya beda-beda, dan Ufik kuat sekali dorongannya, itu nggak usah menjadi patokan, tapi temponya itu yang mesti dikejar. Jadi latihan tempo dulu untuk anak-anak didik kita semua di sini.
And then the other part of this is the number of peaks that we take. Obviously, that people are taking in the top 8 in the world. The average kicks at the top 8 in the world in the 100 and 200 men's backstroke. So you're talking about 10 kicks off the start, 9 kicks off the turn for the 100, and then you're talking 9, 7, 7, 7 kicks for the 200.
Ya, jadi ini tapi patokannya buat ini peran dunia. Ya. Jadi ini peran dunia. Average kakinya 50 meter, 150 itu berat 200 itu yang di atas 100 meter. Ya, ini tapi bukan patokan buat atlet kita ya, ini buat atlet-atlet yang kelasnya dunia.
So, for the men, you're looking at a 48 and a 41 for the 100 200. For the women, you're looking at a 48 and a 43. So a little bit slower, right? Slower on the 200 back. For the faster for the 200 back for the women. So the women are a little bit faster, the men are 41 on the 200 back, and then the women are 43. So a little bit faster, the women's tempos for the 200, about the same for the 100 tempo, as you're looking at 48, maybe a little bit faster, slightly faster for the women's tempos for the 100 back and a lot faster, significantly more faster for the 200 back.
Ya, perbedaannya cowok dan cewek 100 hampir sama, tapi kalau 200 cewek lebih cepat temponya ya, atau ringnya lebih cepat dibandingin dengan peran-peran cowoknya.
And then for the kicks, the women are taking more kicks, whereas the men are taking about 9, 10 kicks off the start, the women are taking about an average of 12 kicks off the start. And they're not moving, the women don't move as much water with each kick. So it just makes sense that you have a stronger athlete, they're going to be able to move more water with a single kick. So you have women breaking out, going to about 14 meters and taking 12 kicks to that. So you have slightly more kicks for the women.
Ya kan perempuan itu tendangan kakinya pasti lebih lemah daripada laki, makanya di jumlahnya pasti lebih banyak tendangan kaki.
And then, kind of along with that, like you have most backstrokers swim 100 and 200. Most backstrokers, and you're not talking very different stroke. So you're talking same athletes, same stroke. What is the most important thing in order to present it? So this is a video of the current world record holder in the men's 100 back, Thomas Chacon from Italy. And so this is him swimming in a flume at a very fast tempo. Actually, so fast tempo Thomas Chacon. And again, what is most important? When I slow this down, what you see is that he's increasing his tempo. This is about maybe a 58 tempo, pretty fast, and faster than you would do in a race. But he's not just spinning the arms. What he's doing when I slow this down, he's still finishing deep. So you see that even at the very fast tempo, 58, he's still finishing down. So having good stroke rate, having faster stroke rate, means you need to rotate faster. Not just move your arms faster, but rotate faster from side to side. How do you rotate faster? You finish deep still. So you have to be able to do this more dynamically, more powerfully in every move.
Ya, ini adalah berenang dengan menggunakan tempo ya. Itu yang ada di video itu Thomas Chacon itu rekor dunia 100 meter umum. Ini si Thomas berenang dengan tempo 58 itu cepat sekali. Tapi yang Russel tadi poin yang harus diperhatikan adalah finishnya tangan tetap di dalam, ya tetap dalam. Bukan berarti temponya naik, tapi ini jadi asal-asalan, tapi tadinya dalam, hanya lebih cepat temponya.
And then wrapping up, I showed the model technique for freestyle. And so this is Caleb McCune from Australia, champion 100 and 200 back. And what you see is the same thing. You see the arms out to the side, you see the hands enter above the shoulders, you see the rotation at appropriate amount and appropriate time of the rotation. And you can't tell, but the hands are definitely pushing down and finishing deeper. And so all the things, good catch, good rotation, good finish.
Ya, ini untuk mengakhiri buku. Ini bisa dilihat videonya dari Danielnya, pertama sekali. Dia lihat beboknya sangat sempurna, dilihat posisi bahunya, ya perubahan dari posisi tangannya pada saat masuk ke dalam air, kemudian dorongan dalamnya, bawah pinggulnya, ya itu semuanya gayanya gaya yang sempurna.
So when you have your little kids, your 8-year-old swimming, and they're just swimming like this, I think a lot of that is okay. You just want to add a little bit of rotation. You don't need to make them rotate all the way just because they're swimming like this. Just add a little bit of rotation, and that's good.
when I see with older athletes that rotate a lot, it's really hard for me to teach them to rotate less.
Ya, pada saat kita menemukan atlet-atlet kita yang masih kecil, nggak ada rotasinya, itu kita hanya perlu menambahkan dalam contoh begini ya. Satu-satu, nah itu hanya perlu menambahkan sedikit rotasi pada bahunya. Karena yang ditemukan oleh Russel adalah banyak atlet-atlet yang sudah dewasa yang rotasinya sangat banyak, itu susah sekali untuk dikurangi. Jadi ya dia nggak pernah rotasi yang terlalu banyak terus.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Does anyone have any other questions on backflip?
Ada pertanyaan? Ada yang bingung?
Sorry, I'm circling back to this again. It's about the breathing pattern once again.
That's about what?
The breathing pattern. The breathing pattern.
Breathing pattern, yeah.
See, as I see breaststroke and backstroke have similar breathing patterns that I noticed on other members with usually both strokes. So I'd like to know what you think about it.
I think so. Just like you're running, when you're running, you have the opportunity to breathe every time and as much as you want. And when you're running, you don't really see runners hold their breath. I think it's okay to be breathing quite a bit. What I noticed is what you can see, especially on this video of yours, you can see when athletes are breathing. They're breathing every single stroke. When their hands, their mouth is opening every time the arm comes up, actually. So they're breathing more often than you would in a freestyle. Freestyle, you breathe every other stroke, every two. And on back stroke, they're breathing every time the arm comes up. So it's more shallow breaths, not big breaths where you're breathing in and holding ever. They're breathing when they're opening their mouth, breathing every opportunity, just like you would when you're running. You're not really thinking about it when you're running. And I think it kind of should be that same opportunity. Like, I don't really think we should be restricting the opportunity to breathe when it's very easy to do. And I guess I've heard different other things. Maybe some people talk about, like, when you can hold your breath, maybe hold more air in your lungs, but there's different trade-offs with that.
Ya, jadi pertanyaannya tadi tentang breathing pattern atau pattern pernapasan gaya punggung. Karena punggung itu kan kita bisa napas setiap kali gitu ya. Kalau jawaban dari Russel tadi tidak ada spesifik ketentuan mana yang breathing patternnya, pattern pernapasannya mana yang lebih bagus dari yang satunya. Tapi intinya seperti kita lari, kita otomatis pada saat kita akan bernapas sesuai dengan kebutuhan kita masing-masing. Ya, kalau kita biasa nahan, ya biasa nahan. Kalau kita nggak biasa nahan, kita napas terus. Setiap stroke kita bisa napas terus. Jadi ya itu biasanya secara natural akan dilakukan oleh atlet kita. Ada lagi pertanyaan?
Time to take a photo. Group photo. One more question.
So, Coach, you were not talking about kicking yet.
Yeah, I was just gonna briefly say, it's not very different than freestyle kicking, it's just not as forward, not as far up. So it will be a little bit more shallow, and you still want to finish the kick strong, it's just not going to be as far up. So it's just going to be, because you're on your back, it's just going to be to the surface. You still want to be keeping the toes up. It just won't be as far forward. Obviously, you're not going to be kicking above the surface.
But that's all. And you usually kicking like side?
Obviously, you are going to be kicking to the side, right. And because you're going to be rotating, because you're not rotating that much, it's still, so you will be kicking a little bit more forward, but and a lot of athletes will use the kick. I've heard Aaron Pearsall, the US backstroker, would use the kick to also help them rotate from side to side. I don't really talk about that much, I would say, because I focus on more of the arms, but if an athlete can relate to that, that helps. I think that can be something that you can use as your kick to also get your rotation.
Ya, jadi di gaya punggung nggak seperti di gaya bebas. Kakinya kan, kalau di gaya bebas bisa jalan sekali, kalau punggung kita nggak bisa terlalu keluar. Jadi yang terpenting intinya adalah direct dari perubahan tangan, first catch-nya itu yang paling penting. Karena itu yang akan semuanya itu akan mengikuti catch yang cepat di awal. Perubahan jadi tangannya tadi dari ini langsung begini. Itu yang membuat semuanya bisa berjalan lebih bagus. That's it. Ada lagi pertanyaan?
Oh, many questions.
Terima kasih. Izin bertanya, Mas. Jadi dari beberapa video yang ditampilkan, pertama waktu tangan finish itu tadi ada beberapa video yang ankle tangannya itu seperti kuat, tapi ada yang lemah kayak gitu. Itu yang pertama. Terus yang kedua, waktu dia mau recovery, ada yang jempolnya gini terus berputar, tapi ada yang langsung gliding gitu. Jadi karena ada beberapa video, jadi pertanyaan itu sebetulnya yang mana bisa dipakai atau bisa juga dipakai. Terima kasih.
Yeah, she saw in the video that some swimmers they have a really strong waist on the finish, some like this, really good, so to speak. And then on the recovery part, some do the thumb first and then pinky, but she also saw that the one goes like all the way.
Yeah, I would say it should be comfortable for the athlete. The recovery part should be comfortable. So, you know, having a pinky from the very start, I would say could potentially put some strain on the shoulder, especially on this first part. So I think it's more relaxed and maybe better for the shoulder to do with your thumb than leading with the pinky out of the water. And so I like the traditional thumb first and then rotating with your pinky. So just for, and then I'll talk about the other part after, but yeah.
Oke, kalau untuk recovery, ya posisinya yang dianjurkan di posisi relax ya, tangan kita biasa gini, pasti kan keluarnya begini. Ya kalau kita dari awal sudah begini, bahu kita terasa lebih tertarik ya, nggak relax gitu. Kan namanya recovery harus relax, jadi lebih diutamakan yang tradisional, yang jempolnya dulu baru putar. Ya itu kalau untuk recovery.
Yeah, and then with the strong wrist on the finish, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the most important part is being able to hold water and rotating against this part. And if you're finishing like down or you're moving your wrist a lot and you can really emphasize that, I don't know, that's not that important to me. I think the most important is just where just this downward movement to help the hip move up. And so like having this very, I would say, emphasis on what the finish is doing. Now, I'm not as concerned about that.
Ya, jadi untuk yang finishnya, itu kan tadi pertanyaannya ada yang kayak kaku, tapi ada yang lemes kan. Itu nggak terlalu bermasalah. Yang penting waktu dorongannya yaitu ke arah dorongannya ke bawah. Masalah ini ada yang begini, ada yang enggak. Yang penting dorongannya tetap ke bawah.
Oh, good. Mr. Phillips.
All right, round of applause for Coach Russel. Ya, sepertinya ada yang sedang tawar-menawar. Capek nggak? Teman-teman capek?
you tired? Masih semangat? Oke, kita dulu. Alright. Yeah, a little bit changes of rundown. So after this, we will have a 10-minute short break, right? We have 10 minutes short break. After that, we will continue to our last session. Then we'll continue to photo session, and then we can have a dinner. So we hope it will make it fast to finish today. Alright? Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Of course, yes. We go home early. Right? Okay, guys, so you have 10 minutes already.
Okay, rather than to, because we do not want to waste your time, what we'll do is we're going to push the session a little bit earlier for the next session.